prepping for the tomatoes for a homemade tomato sauce. So first you're going to cut off the top, then you'll turn it over and you'll make an X on the bottom. You'll make an X like this, and then you'll put it in boiling water and you'll leave it there for about maybe 30 seconds, and the skin will begin to peel off. This is so you have a silky smooth sauce. I just finished prepping the last tomato, and it looks like our water, yes, it's just about ready to put the tomato in. So once we have a full boil that does not stop, we drop it in and leave it for about 30 seconds on each side. So as you can see, the water is boiling and we are ready to put the tomatoes in. So one way you can do it safely is put the tomato on a slotted spoon and place it in the water. So after we remove them, I already started taking some of the skin off, but when you take it out the water, you'll see it's split on both ends, and we put the ice water to shock it, and all you have to do is pinch it, it slides right off. Now you can put this in for vegetable stock. We don't want it in our sauce because of the pectin, and I'm going to continue removing the skins off of these remainder, and then I'll show you the next step of removing the seeds so we don't get any pectin in our sauce. Okay, now that we've gotten them all skinned, now you're going to cut the tomato in half so you can remove the seeds. So we're not going to cut it across the top. We're going to lay it on its side and cut it in half this way, the whole width of the body. And the reason why we're doing that is because we want to be able to get the seeds out easily. And so when you cut it like this, it exposes the seeds and you can just pull it out with your fingers, and then you won't have any pectin in your sauce. So I'm going to start removing the rest of them and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, they're all halved. So what you do is just take your finger, pop the seed out, do the same on the other side. And this is what you got left. So you just keep doing that to get rid of all the seeds that have all the pectin in it. And this one just disintegrated on me. So usually my tomatoes are much larger, but because it's the beginning of the season, they only have the tiny ones that we're buying ripened. So we go at what we can work with, right? So I'm going to keep taking these seeds out. I'm sorry, my tripod, I left my tripod, so that's why I'm having to do this with one hand. So I'm going to put this on pause so that I can have my other hand and keep taking the seeds out, and then I'll be back. Okay, so this is what we have left. These are all the seeds and the juices. Now you can strain this juice out of here and just leave the seeds and add the juice into your pot for your sauce later. These are the wonderful tomatoes without the seeds. We're going to chop them up and get our sauce started. Or you can also make a tomato vinaigrette with this. So I'm going to chop these up and get them into our saucepan, and then I'll be back. Oh, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of olive oil, some garlic, and so now we've added our onions to the pot. I don't know if you can hear that sizzle. My dishwasher is going in the background. But we have it on low heat. We're just going to saute them until they become translucent. Okay. We have our garlic finely minced. And we're going to go over here and check on our onions. They're still sweating down. I turned it down really low because I didn't want them to burn. So we're just going to give that a little stir. This is going to cook down for about another minute or so before we add our garlic. We chopped it and we want to give it time to rest to release all those wonderful benefits of the garlic. The benefits of lowering your blood pressure and things like that. It's always best if you cut your garlic and let it sit for about 5 minutes at least, but 15 minutes is perfect, so that you can have all those wonderful benefits of the garlic. So I'm going to just keep stirring this a little while longer. So we just added the garlic in. We're going to let that cook. You don't really need to cook garlic that long, just enough until you can start to smell it. And then you can add your other ingredients in. These are just our aromatics that we're starting with. And I forgot to get fresh thyme. So I am going to put some dried thyme in. Now dried herbs are stronger than fresh, so we're going to put in about a teaspoon of those dried herbs and just mix it in so it gets in nice and evenly coated through the fat and the onions that we have in here. We're also going to add some dried oregano. Again, about a teaspoon or so. And some dried rosemary. This one about a half a teaspoon. And give that a stir. We're going to keep this on low heat because we're almost ready to add our other ingredients. So I'm going to put this on low, and then we're going to pivot. So we're still going to chop up our tomatoes, but before we do that, I want to put in the Ninja, I'm going to use the food processor to get this down to a small paste. So I'm going to have the food processor going, and then I'm going to chop the tomatoes, and then we'll be back. Okay, we have our tomatoes nicely chopped up and crushed, and these are the ones we did before. And this is our wonderful, lovely mushroom paste. This is going to be our meat substitution for our sauce. Okay, we've added our tomatoes. Alright. We have some more on the sides. I gotta put you down because, again, I don't know where my tripod is. A moment. Okay, we added the tomatoes and the mushroom paste. So now we're gonna increase the heat just slightly. Give that a mix that in together. This is going to become our mushroom sauce to go over our pasta. So this is going to be really good. It's not going to be very heavily tomato based because my husband doesn't like tomatoes. Usually I make a pepper sauce made with red bell peppers and yellow bell peppers and orange bell peppers. Just because he doesn't like tomatoes, but he does love sun-dried tomatoes, so we're going to add those in a bit. So we're just going to keep on building these flavors, and we'll be back. We added some fresh basil, and we reserved some basil to garnish with. We just wanted to get this cooking down. It's almost done. Just needs to thicken a little bit more, and we will be ready. We just added the sun-dried tomatoes because we want to get that flavor and texture throughout the sauce. Again, this is not a heavy tomato-based sauce. It's more of a mushroom sauce. So if you were doing a meat sauce, you know, you have your tomato sauce and you add your meat. Well, this was like a tomato sauce, and we added the mushrooms as a meat substitution. So we're just going to let this simmer. Get these flavors all incorporated. We are going to taste at this moment. Give me 1 second. Okay, we tasted it. It's well seasoned. We just add a little pepper. Again, we're going to reduce it to the lowest heat, cover it, and let it simmer for about another 20 minutes or so. And then we'll be ready to mix in our pasta. And I keep saying pasta because I'm not sure if I'm going to do the lasagna or if I'm just going to do a stuffed pasta or spaghetti or something like that. I'm still debating. And this is my wonderful chopped up ginger. I'm going to put this in a mocktail. I have some blueberry mango shrub that I fermented, and we're going to put it in with some lemonade and some ginger and over some ice and make it a really good mocktail. After we're done simmering, we're going to chop. So my husband just informed me he went to the store, he couldn't find the lasagna noodles. So it looks like we will be having this wonderful mushroom pasta sauce over stuffed pasta. We're still going to add in the spinach at the last minute on a rough chop and let the carryover heat wilt the spinach because we don't want to over cook the spinach. So we'll turn it off, remove it from the heat, and chop up the spinach and put it in and cover it and let the residual heat wilt it down really nicely. And we'll show you the finished product when it's done.